Couple of seconds. It's setting up your live.
Uh-oh. All right. Welcome back, Facebook, to another edition of Fathers and Finance. I have myself and three of the best looking fathers in the business. We got Mr. Patrick Graves right there looking all sharp and dapper. Look at you, Patrick, right? We got back from the abyss, Marcus. Marcus, where was you at last week, my brother? You know, you was missing last week, but hey, we got your back, Marcus.
Yes,
welcome back, sir. Welcome back. And fresh off the 9 to 5 was we got clean Isaac. Clean Isaac. What's up, my man?
What's up, brother? How's it going?
Man, it is wonderful out here. I got my fish tank background going, so y'all see that?
Yes, sir. You looking smooth.
Yeah. All right. So last week's edition was a great success, and because of that, they asked us to come back, right? So I figured we'll come back with a topic this weekend or this week that we began with last week, which was the topic of providing. And for those of you that are new to our program on Facebook, the Fathers and Finance is centered around trying to give our men a perspective of being a father, and being involved in a field of finance, and to kind of bridge that gap of what it actually like to be here and what it actually took to get here, and all of the struggles and the learning curves that we had to go through as men, and as fathers and as providers. It's not an easy road, and when you get here and you are asked to share your path and share your story, that means that you're doing something that is to be proud of, because we need more of ourselves, in these roles to give plenty of the ones that are following us, a path, and not just any path, but a proven path, the path that we've been on. And all of us here on this program have had our unique paths of coming from where we were, whether we were broke or dead broke or somewhat broke. And now here we are in a field where the money's okay, but what did it take to get here, and what learning lessons, can we pass on? And so that's our attempt here in Fathers and Finance, is to give you guys a real perspective on the journey and the continued journey of being a father that's wrapped up in this financial world. So as I said, this week's topic is about providing, and what I want to do is I want to give a different perspective on that topic of a provider, because as a man, we're all given our own, we all have our own definition of a provider, right? And for the most part, it's what? As long as I bring in the money, I'm providing, right? And that may work in high school, okay, right? That may work in college, okay? And it may work a little bit in your 20s or whatever, but when life gets real, it doesn't work that way all the time, and we develop and learn that, okay, this thing called providing is not as cut and dry as I was told, or cut and dry as what I see, because I'm bringing the money, I'm providing, but there's still a little disconnect there between myself and my spouse. So I wanted to give a perspective on that. So I'm gonna ask Isaac, if you don't mind, my brother, to kind of lead us off in that subject, and Marcus and Patrick, feel free to jump in here with any insight you see fit. Isaac kicks us off.
Sure. So, thank you, Trevor. I appreciate you. And for those who don't know me, my name is Isaac. I'm a father of two. I've had an insurance business now for a while, and I've been a part of this organization now, I guess since January of this year. And one of the things that, as far as this is concerned, Trevor and I talked a little bit earlier, as far as providing for the family and just being a little different. We obviously all know the basics. Yes, you gotta be working. Yes, you gotta bring an income in, but there are different aspects of provision. One of the ones we won't discuss today, obviously, is the mental and the the emotional part of it, that's a whole nother conversation, but that's something that's equally important. You certainly must take care of the overall mindset of your woman, but she should also know that if something happens to you physically and you're no longer able to work, you're just disabled, you should be able to, your role didn't change. You still should be able to provide for your family. You should have something set up in place so that if you're disabled and can no longer work, she don't have to go out there working 2 and 3 jobs trying to take care of you. She should also know that if something were to happen to you, that and you passed away and gone. I mean, this year COVID has taken 250,000 people who otherwise would have been here. 250,000 people who otherwise, starting in 2020, we were like, man, there's no reason unless an accident or something like that happens to expect that these people would not be here, but now they're gone. So how many of those people didn't have something in place? How many of those people didn't have something left for their wife and their children? We just buried, I'm a Florida A&M Rattler, and we just buried a very popular individual from our class, a freshman class of '88. And by the time he realized he had cancer, for those people who don't know, insurance is one of those things that once you need it, you can't get it. You can get as much as you want before you need it. But once you need it, you can't get insurance. That's a wrap. So once he found out that he was sick, it was too late. So there was nothing that he could do. And obviously he wanted to go back in time and protect his family, but we got our brother buried, but his family is now out there by themselves trying to pay bills. So there are different levels of provision that have to go on. Yes, get a job. Yes, work. Yes, bring home your check. But there are levels. What's that saying? There's levels to this thing. I can't remember what movie that was from, but it's levels to this thing. So that's it as far as what I wanted to bring. I want to discuss some things a little later on, but that's kind of what I wanted to bring up as far as the provision. And then when it comes to the life insurance part of it, there are levels of life insurance to do. And I talk on this briefly. Your wife is expecting you to take care of the children. And she's expecting you to provide not just for the children, but for their futures. And their instruments, and I didn't know till 4 or 5 years ago. Some of these instruments have been around 20 years, but they're instruments that you can use once your child is born to set them up for life, to set them up so that if they want to go to college, their college is paid for. And if they want to, and if their child isn't that going to college type of person, but they've got that hustler, entrepreneur type spirit, then you can set some insurance policies up for your children so that they can go on and open their business where they don't have to go open up a loan at Bank of America or Wells Fargo. They don't have to go ask some person outside of the community to beg them for some money and then have to pay it back at a higher interest rate. These are all things that we plan on discussing here tonight. So I'll turn the floor back on over to Trevor.
Awesome. Thank you, Isaac. So I wanted to ask, and guys, all of you on the call, feel free to post any questions you have in the chat box, okay? And we'll definitely get those questions answered for you. So any questions you have, just post them in the chat box and we'll get to you. But I want to ask Patrick, when it comes to providing, Patrick, okay, what did you think it was, and what do you think it is now? What does it mean to be a provider now, and what was it to be one then?
I would say that my experience on what I seen to being a provider was a little bit different because I had both parents in the home. Mm-hmm. I'm one of the lucky few. So I watched my dad go to work every day, all day, and then repeat that until I'm out the house and she's still doing the same thing. That's like all he knew what he was doing, so that's all he knew to do was to provide in that way. But I also learned that, like Isaac said, and it's a whole nother conversation, that being a provider is not just paying the bills. You have to be there um, mentally to assess and correct the paths, because everybody, your family, you the leader, you the head of the spear.
Right.
Wherever you go, that's where your family gonna go. That's how your success is where your family's gonna go. And your mate picked you because she felt like you was gonna propel her to the moon.
Right.
Like you
Right.
said yesterday, or the last time we was on here, that women see our potential. They don't see for where we at right now. They see our potential. And,
Yeah, because
and
you're right.
They don't see us, brother. They
yeah, yeah.
right now they like, no,
They
I don't
see
like,
some,
I
they
don't love
see
that
some
brother.
other great person that's out there. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
Some
and
great
yes.
person that we grow into being.
Right.
And that's our job, to grow into that man as soon as we possibly can. But
It's kind of like saying our spouses don't love the man we are. They love the man that they think that we can be, right?
Right.
right. That's completely right. It's just the truth. We see for what it is. They see for what it could be.
Right. That's what
And
for the most part.
and it's our job. Yeah, for the most part, of course. I'm not saying but it's our job to actually understand that and be. And I'm a young guy, so I'm still working through this. I'm learning this as I'm going. I've definitely asked my dad and talked to him about. Well, I've already been drilled into my head that that's what I have to make something shake.
Right.
It is levels to this, and you got to make sure that whatever level you at this year, you're taking that step to the next level.
Right. And I think I mentioned it last week, Patrick, but I said, sometimes, you have men that just go out there, they make the money, and then they say, here's the money, and then the wife takes over, okay? And as long as they're doing that, they think that everything's okay. And I mentioned it last week, I said, if you really want to know how you're doing as a provider, okay, get involved in the paying of the bills, all right? And not just the paying of the bills just to see what gets paid or how much gets paid, but the paying of the bills is a great litmus test as far as, are you providing enough money to pay all the bills, right?
Right.
Because in households, this phrase is too common, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
And it's become a common thing that, okay, if you don't do that, then you're not living right. And I say to find that out, because it is stressful having to deal with paying the bills when all the money isn't available. Okay. And to me, that's a great way to understand, okay, am I really providing as I think I am? Because if I can see where, okay, I'm not bringing in enough money, and she has to do this and do that to make the ends meet, and that's stress by itself. So I said this last week, if you really want to know how you're doing as a provider, get involved in paying the bills to see exactly what your spouse, what your girlfriend is going through if all the money is not there to pay all the bills. So Marcus, you're a younger cat than Patrick, right?
Slightly. Yes, sir.
Slightly.
Slightly.
So what's your perspective on being a provider, and what you see, and the changes that you've seen, especially this year going through?
Yeah, I like to piggyback off Pat. I was another one of the lucky ones. Grew up with both of my parents, married in the house, so providing. My pops was awesome leader, you know what I mean, of the family, period. And when it came to work, that's his nickname. You know what I mean? He talking long hours, the usual long hours, just to provide, to put food on the table, clothes on our backs, when we were little. But growing up, I didn't have, Pat was one of my high school friends. He was one of the only ones who had, I think me and him out of our crew was the only ones who had both parents in the house. The rest of them single, you know what I mean? Single parent household. but I was able to witness firsthand what it really took to be a true provider for your family. And so my idea, it wasn't just work. I work, as long as I'm working, I'm providing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't have that that little of a outlook on what providing is. You know what I mean? So I knew it was more extensive, and it took more to provide, to actually really provide for your family fully. But now I kind of tried to, we human, we make mistakes. I tried to, follow my pop's footsteps with, providing for my family. You know what I mean? Me and my wife, this year we made 7 years. July 28th.
Congratulations,
We've been
man.
married.
Congrats,
And
man.
11 years together. So
You just getting started.
yeah, it's definitely a battle. You know what I mean? Like,
Man, I remember my 7th year
it's a
marriage.
learning.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I can't remember mine. That's how long it's been.
I'm still
Man, how
still
old was
learning.
I when I was 7 year married? I think I was what, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was like 28 years old.
Yeah, man. It was, it's a learning process, really. You know what I mean? With everything, because everybody go about different. Everybody handles situations differently. You know what I mean? Everybody was brought up differently, so everybody outlook on marriage and handling things in a marriage and providing, like we are on the topic here.
So okay,
everybody is different.
So Marcus, Patrick, even you, Isaac, how your fathers, did they set up a plan for your future as far as college,
No.
as far as if I pass away, if I get hurt, so okay, so they were providing as a worker,
Right.
a paycheck, right? But they didn't. But as far as now, why do you think they didn't establish those?
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
And listen, man, I can tell you about, I'm like all of you guys. Both of my parents were in the house. So
am I the only dude that didn't have our parents now?
I guess so, man.
The panelists probably.
Both my parents were in the house.
Nah, you ain't by yourself.
I'm sure there's other brothers over here, but
yeah, for sure.
But one thing I wanted to say was that both my parents were professors.
I feel left out.
And my parents, you're talking about education. The pressure was really kind of put on me because they were like, "Yo, you got to get good grades, so you can get a scholarship," because they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I mean, my father. Don't get me wrong. Both my parents made good money, and my father had extra like corporate jobs that he would make during the summer to just kind of save money and put it away. And my mama did extra teaching and all that type of stuff. So just like all of you, my parents were super hard working. That's all I knew was to work, but they just didn't know. And so
knowledge wasn't there.
So guess what I did? I did the same thing they did. My son became a super athlete and he's highly intelligent. So, my son, mathematically speaking, he only, on the math part of the SAT, he missed one question.
Damn.
On the math part of the SAT, he missed one question. And by the time he got to a senior, he was pitching 92 miles an hour. So I'm like, that's his ticket to college. I mean, that's
right.
I hadn't made any plan. I was like, that's his ticket. And then my daughter, she got full rides, academically speaking, and she's on a full ride now. But if it wasn't for having intelligent children, and more importantly, me making an intelligent choice and choosing my wife, because all the intelligence resides with my wife. If I hadn't made that choice, then I don't know what I'd be doing as far as making sure that my children were taken care of as far as school is concerned.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate and blessed. And I realized that because I didn't have a plan. My parents didn't have a plan and I didn't have a plan. So I'm glad now though, Marcus and Patrick, I'm extremely happy for you guys because your children are young. Yeah. And you, like when I learned about this, my daughter was going to college. So it was a wrap for me. So you guys, y'all got time, brother. And for any of you other brothers that are on, you have, and sisters as well. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not mention you sisters, but any of you that's got young children, you've got time to prepare for them and prepare for them the right way.
Yeah, and you know, it's I mean, and sometimes all your answers were the same. Like I said, I didn't have a father in my household. You know, I had a stepfather early in my years, you know, and that ended when I was probably about maybe 13 years old, and it was my mom and my brother and myself, and you know, my mom was the mom and the dad and everything. And my mom was the provider, and I want to say that my stepfather did have a plan in place for the future. But then through divorce, you know, that plan changed, you know, and then everything fell on my mom. And my mom, you know, she worked her butt off to take care of myself and my brother and eventually my sister. And 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 the plan that she put into place to take care of herself in the later years, you know, it got cashed in, you know, to buy a house in the middle of that whole thing, you know. So you know, I wasn't uh, again, I didn't know that, you know, I was supposed to provide for my family in the way of if I pass away. And when I joined the military, okay, the military took care of that for me through SGLI. You know, the military took care of that for me through the insurance I got through them. You know, so and I kept that for the whole my military career, and even afterwards, you know, it was term insurance I got. You know, I was a private in the army, and I kept that for many years. And so and your answers are correct. You know, you just don't know. And that's why the importance of financial literacy is spotlighted, because insurance is something that is overlooked by so many people because it's not viewed as a necessary component of life, you know, and it really is, and it needs to be, you know, and the the ones that we push, the IUL, you know, it's gone beyond just a policy or a product that is supposed to be used for when you pass away, you know, because as you know, we believe that an insurance policy should be utilized when you're alive, right, guys? You know,
Mhm.
and I didn't know that until I became an agent, okay, and understood the different parts in what we had. I didn't know that there were companies or policies that could help you out if you got hurt and couldn't work. You know, that could help you out and pay your mortgage if you couldn't do that. You know, I didn't know there were so many different things out there that could have helped so many people from breaking their back. You know, and working. How many people, you know, could have worked longer that probably didn't because they worked while they were hurt, right? And that cost them some years of health, right? If they had a policy that could come in and come in there and jump in and take over a few payments on some things, that could help. So it goes way beyond just having a money source, because if I'd have known about a lot of these vehicles that are available now, you know, I definitely would have told my mom about it, you know, and saved a lot of years for her working. So as a provider, man, I also believe that it's up to us to educate ourselves on the different vehicles that are out there that provide a service for not only you as an individual, but for your family. You know, there are lots of different products out there that can take care of a lot of different avenues of finances for people. But again, as you say, people just don't know. So if we can spread that word and get them to understand that, hey, you know, it's cool to be someone that looks out for your family's future. You know, it's cool to I mean, there are so many. I didn't know. How many of you guys knew that um, Chadwick Boseman, okay, Black Panther himself, okay, passed away. Nothing set up.
Wow.
Nothing set up. Okay, and you would expect a superstar like that,
Right.
okay, to have things lined up. And okay, if I go, you know, it's all straight. Okay, I learned that last week. I said, dude had nothing set up.
Yeah,
No?
I've been seeing.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, I guess my internet connection got unstable for a second, but yeah, I've been seeing a lot that it doesn't matter about your status and where you at in life, how much money you make. You don't have the information, and you just don't have the information, and it's our job to get it out there. And I wanted to, hey, what's going on, Edward? I wanted to shout out you. What's going on, my boy? But this is personal to me because um my mother was always a hard worker as well. So my dad picked, just like Isaac said, a great mate. And she took care of her mom and her four siblings. So about around the time that I was about in high school, maybe like eighth and ninth grade, my mom got really sick. We didn't know what it was at all. What it ended up being was a form of lupus.
Mm.
So when it came out, the doctors didn't know what she had. They didn't know how to treat it. They didn't know what was going on with her at all. And all the financial bearings came down on my father, which made him stay at work continuously. So, you know, that type of thing right there also affects the relationship because when you're financially burdened,
Who?
it's tough on you. It's emotions that you're trying to get out that may be received in the wrong way because you're getting all this pressure from different places and you're like it. The thing that I've noticed in my life is a lot of times, and we're really bad at it as people, um our emotions tend to go out to the people we love the most
Mm-hmm.
and we hurt them the most.
And it's unintentional. Yeah.
It's
Right.
unintentional, but and that comes with being emotional discipline
Right.
and also understanding your emotions in a way where as though your finances should not affect how you feel about situations. And we're here talking about this because we want you all to understand that having a plan in place can save your marriage, can save your life,
Right.
can put you in a place where as though if something was to happen and you know what I'm saying, your significant other could be walking fine today and then the next day they can't get out of the bed.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
Patrick.
whole nother income. If you was sharing something with somebody and say that y'all was sharing something like a house or house mortgage, and that's the only reason you was able to get that house was because you are partners with it and y'all in it together.
Yep.
Then they get sick or even bad, even worse, they die, and you don't have anything in place. It's like, how are you able to be the provider?
Yeah.
You
I think
start looking at yourself
I
like,
think what has to happen, Patrick, I think
Yeah.
there has to be a new narrative that is placed upon, you know, not just the provider standpoint, but a new narrative, a new understanding has to be placed upon the importance of supplementing your income and putting and having your plan in place because it's not what now, and I'm not saying it's I don't know this, okay, but you know, for us in our culture, it's not something that's taught. You know, it's not something that is discussed because it's something. Again, insurance is kind of like something that's just hey, if you got enough money, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You know, but I think there has to be a new paradigm on the importance of having these plans in place because you know if anything, COVID has brought out this year is that there are a lot of people that were hit upside the head that thought they had it going on, okay, and learned quickly that they didn't, you know, and just how important that paycheck was that all of a sudden was taken away for a month or three, you know, during the summertime. And I mean, if you think about that, 3 months of no income ruined a lot of people's lives. 3 months.
You know, brother, that's I concur wholeheartedly, brother, because that's a mindset. Some of the comments that people were mentioning in the comments, Prince, Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
John Singleton. I mean, these are people that we look up to and are wealthy in one respect, but then they didn't leave anything for anybody.
Right.
I mean, that's mind blowing, and it just has to do with education. Just because just because you were rich or you made it, it doesn't mean anything. You know, you could look at OJ. OJ had proper education because OJ protected all of his stuff. But everybody else that you see kind of out there, man, you know, they just trusted people to do that. I think Tanisha has a little, there's a flyer, not a flyer, but a little visual that we wanted to show. And it was talking about preparing the house. And I think, you know, when you look at, you know, the house over there, which house would you want to live in? And most of it, and the house on the left is not necessarily the house of a poor man.
Nope.
That person could be balling out of what we consider balling.
That's your financial house.
Yeah.
Right. That person on the left could what we all call balling, but you know, all it takes is you to get hit one time, like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until you get hit in the mouth.
Yep.
And America got hit in the mouth with 3 months of unemployment. And now they're like, man, I'm waiting for food. I'm waiting for this.
3 months, 3 months, you know, that's crazy thought. I mean, to think that 3 months can wipe out, you know, thank you, Keisha, for that visual, you know, but to think that 3 months can wipe out an entire family's livelihood, you know, that took years to build. Okay?
Right.
And it wasn't because the person wasn't working. Okay. It wasn't because they wasn't bringing in no money. All right. It was because they didn't have a plan in place for when they couldn't bring any damn money. All right. And that is the question that needs to be asked to the rich people. Okay. I'm hang on down. The rich Black people and the poor Black people. Okay. What you gonna do when you can't make the damn money? Okay. What you gonna do when the money stops coming in? Right? Because yeah, as long as you can get up every day and go to work and pay that bill, whatnot, okay, then what if someone tells you to stop? Right? Now what? If 3 months can wipe out an entire, half this country we're still limping off of that. You know, and I know for us, you know, there were plenty of phone calls made, right, as agents to people that had these IULs in place, right? And the phone calls kind of went like this. Hey, Isaac, I don't know if you lost your job or you're on furlough or whatever, but I'm just calling you to let you know that, you know, you got about, you know, about 80 grand in your cash value, you know, saved up. You got about, you know, 120 in cumulative premium saved up. So if you got to borrow some money or take some money because you got laid off, you know, you got 80 grand here, 120 here, you know, enjoy quarantine, you know. And some of those people, they forgot they had these policies, right? And you call them up and say, hey, don't know if you got furloughed, don't know if you got fired, but just want to let you know you got about 6 figures in your policy that you can go use tax-free right now. And my friend, enjoy quarantine. You know.
I have a client, Trevor, that told me when he looked at his policies, he said that if he didn't earn another dime, this is when COVID first started. He said if he didn't earn another dime, he could pay all of his bills for 5 years straight.
That's crazy. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. All from something that costs no more than a darn I don't know what hell.
Xbox 5.
Trevor,
PlayStation 5.
You gotta understand.
What we said.
Keep in mind though that a lot of people though they hear us talking about these plans, but you can protect your family for $20, $30. If you don't have 100, 200, 300, that's fine. Protect your family with $20.
Right.
You can do that. You literally, I mean, people may, and I just wanted to bring that in real quick. People may be thinking, oh man, they're talking about all of these expensive plans. And I ain't got that type of that cheese, man. I don't have it. No, bro. $20 will
I
protect.
want
If that's what you got,
I want
use it.
all the men on this call right now.
But
Okay.
a lot of people.
I want all the men on this call to find a financial professional, okay, and agent, and ask them, go to them and say, hey, what can I do? What can I do to protect my family from $100 a month? And you will be surprised as hell what the options you have available to you, especially if you're young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under 30, your options are limitless. It seems
Go
like.
find a professional and say, okay, I got 150 I can do every month. All right. What can I do?
Don't have the
to protect
money.
my
They just
family?
put it. They rather go buy some Jordans or go buy an outfit with.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, it is. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's simple. You know, it's simple. And it's difficult to get into a habit of something, especially on the side of finances and money, if that's not where you came from. You know, but there comes a time where we all gotta grow up, all right? As a man, as a husband, you know, we gotta grow up and say, okay, you know, I'm getting old. Life's happening, and the back is hurting a little bit too much when I get up in the morning, and I don't want to do all this. What can I do if I don't want to do this anymore? You know, it's time for us to start stepping out there and being bold. Let me tell you something. Okay, ain't nothing more sexier than a man that can understand money and finances. Okay, right? Even if it's I mean, look at myself, you look at Patrick, you look at not Marcus though, look at Luke, okay. you look at my man Luke, you know, look at Derek. I mean, there's something different when you can sit down with a female, a spouse, your wife, whomever, and discuss that scribbler. Okay. On a different level though.
Right.
You know, more than just what I'm slanging. Okay. More than just what I'm bringing in. All right. I mean, let me tell you something. Laura, right? Laura, Tanisha, Delitha, all right? All the females that are on this call, okay? Let me tell you something. If you don't talk no money, you can't talk to them.
Fact.
Okay. All right. Because yeah, it's levels it's levels to Delitha and Tanisha and Laura. Okay,
Right.
levels to this, right? There's levels to this. Okay, if you can't talk money and how to protect it and how to keep it, don't holler here. Okay,
Right.
all right. And guys, and I'm not saying you gotta go out there and make 6-7 figures, in income. No, but when a man can say, let me tell you something. How many men out there can say, if the good Lord takes me right now, I got nothing to worry about.
Not too many.
Not too many.
Not too
Not too many. Okay.
Some don't even want to get the knowledge.
Right. Exactly.
Don't holler. Yeah,
exactly.
I ain't ready
That's
yet.
the first step.
First step. You know, and guys, I'm telling you, we're entering into a different 2021 needs to be different. Okay. We gotta leave. I mean, I'm looking at this whole COVID thing and what's happening this past year as the end of mediocrity, okay, and the end of excuses and the end of well, I didn't know, and that ain't my lane, and that's above my head, and enough of that, okay. COVID didn't care what color you was. They didn't care how much money you made, okay. It didn't care nothing. Right? And it damn near took down the world. Okay? All because people couldn't what? Work. Right? I'm not even talking about the people that lost their lives. Okay, that's a different story. Okay, but I was, and I'm not a big fan of this family, but I respect them. Okay, the Kardashians, right? And Kim had a big birthday bash, right, last month, okay? Invited her friends and her family to some private island to celebrate her 40th birthday. And man, people threw so much shade at her, okay? Because they're like, you know what? The world, we're going through a COVID crisis, and I don't want to see your family on a private island, you know, when my family is going into the food bank to try and get food. Now, I understand, but all those people that got mad at Kim, how do you think Kim afforded that? Okay? People are mad because she took care of the family. She took care of herself, okay? And put herself in a position to do what most people are envious of because they failed to do it. Okay. And I'm not saying that, you know, that it was about, you know, just her being popular and all that. No, how many people do you know, Isaac, that are ashamed to let others know that they're okay?
Oh man. Listen, I've been one of those people that have been ashamed to let people know that I wasn't okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, you know, you got people, man, out here. You know, so one thing that I have hope, and I'm the one positive thing, and not to get into politics, the one positive thing I have hope that has come from people these last 4 years of President Trump is that people will want to increase their level of community. Because when, as we say for those who didn't see this movie back in the day, what's his name on New Jack City, G Money, he said, "We all we got." We ought to know right now, we all we got, and we should be calling on one another. That's what it used to be back in the day, where we called on one another and looked out for one another. And what we have to do at this point is not just look after each other what we used to do is look after each other as far as taking care of our children and all that type of stuff. But what we've got to do is look out for each other financially. Hey, brother, are you okay? And we got to be man enough to say, no, I'm not okay. Or, yeah, I am okay. Let's talk and let's build so other people could be okay. In other words, we can't just hold what we have to ourselves with people. I mean, I'm listening to all of you brothers on here. I heard Brother Derek make a comment a second ago. It's hard out here trying to educate people. I changed this mindset. And I see Brother Edwin on here, he's shaking his head too. Yeah. Just getting people to think about protecting your family in a different way. It's
Brother Isaac, man. It's so crazy that you talk about that, man. Is that, you know, it's crazy because I come from a family. I came from a 2-parent household too, so sorry.
Damn, another one. Damn it. Damn, I ain't winning tonight.
I'm sorry, Trevor. But my family wasn't educated on how to protect ourselves either. Yeah. My sister was 27 years old and she passed away 10 days after having my nephew.
Oh wow.
And so my parents got left with a big burden, having to pay for the funeral, having to deal with probate costs, right. And also having, you know, now we're raising a child, right? He's 9 years old today, smart as a whip, and he always has these weird questions from me about adulthood and money, right? So I'm grateful that somebody in the campaign, you know, was willing to reach out to me and ask me if I was okay, right? And I was able to say, no, I wasn't. I had no money in savings. I had very little money in checking. I worked over 60 hours a week between my job and playing music at 2 churches. So I knew how to make money, but I never had any. I never had any, right? And to go from that to within 1 year's time, having money in several places, having a permanent policy for the rest of my life. I know my folks will be good if anything happens to me. I don't have any kids. I'm not married, you know, not yet, but I'm prepared to be responsible, right? And I can have a, you know, and Trevor is right. It's a very sexy conversation to have when a man knows what he's talking about when it comes to money, right?
You just gotta open your mouth, brother, so that the woman is coming. You already.
Let me tell you what happened. A girl told me the other day she was broke. she was broke, and I said I'm broke too, and she was laughing because she looked at me with the financial literacy thing on. I said, "What does broke mean to you?" She's like, "I have less than $100 in all my accounts." I said, "Well, let me tell you what," because I said, "You're not just broke, you brave, okay? You are extremely brave if you can walk around with less than $100 anywhere." Right. But that's the situation that many of our folks find ourselves in. I said, broke for me, I have like 1,700 cash value in a policy that I can't touch for years. I have $2,500 in a mutual fund that I can access in 2 days. I have $2,500 in a savings account that I can access right now. I have less than 500 in checking. I'm broke. And she said, "Damn, I need to be your type of broke." I said, "Yes, you do. Come read this book."
Right.
Right.
Come on.
Come on now.
Right. It's not, you know, I'm not in an amazing financial situation,
Right.
but education changed my life quickly.
Right.
Right. Acting on education, learning what we have to teach, reading that Saving Your Future book, going to the free classes, right? The free workshops.
Free class.
I was
FREE.
right. I paid nothing to get the information that I use today to have the confidence and know that I'm really that guy that can handle whatever. Right. That's how I feel. Right. And you can't tell me otherwise because I'm rooted and grounded in information and not just hearsay. Right.
Brother, she got your
I
phone
know
number,
what's
didn't
going
she?
on.
She got your
Of
number
course
after that, right?
What?
She got your number
Yeah,
after that.
she got it. Yeah, she got it. She got it.
I know she
Look,
did.
got
I know she did.
she got an
couldn't
appointment.
resist
She got an appointment this week because I need her to save money. I don't need her to go on a date yet.
Come on.
But
That's a great ad.
Yeah,
Anthony, great
it.
ad.
Oh man.
That's
man,
good.
and these little private and these low income communities, man, it's just people don't know how to adjust. They don't want to change their lifestyle, especially with this COVID-19 situation. No, I'm grateful that I'm able to sit out, you know, these since COVID ever started. But that's due to the knowledge they gave us with World System Builder. But a lot of people, you know, they ain't able to adjust or survive through the situation. They waiting on Uncle Sam to send them some money.
Right.
You know, in Louisiana, unemployment is $95 or $200 a week. That's no money at all, really,
Nope.
to even cover bills.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
You know,
Nope. Nope.
They
They
really
got-
hurting in the inner city.
Yeah.
really hurt.
So
And
I
you know, I'm out. You know, people, I'm like, man, you need to get this knowledge. It's free. It's free. Like I'm begging you every day. Like this free knowledge, it's free education. Like you don't have to pay nothing. It's out here for free. You know.
Right.
I look at my situation. I know my grandmother. She worked, you know, a lot of hours, 14, 12 hours, 7-day shifts to take care of me and my sisters. You know, but. You know, just because she believed in she can work out her life, retire, get Social Security, and when it come down to it, you know, Social Security is not there given to her because, you know, she wasn't of the age limit because she ended up getting cancer. She couldn't work no more. But her not having the proper protection, you know, that brought a toll on the family. We got to come out of our pockets. You know, we got to try to pay for treatment, try to make sure she get to the hospital, make sure we got nurses. And sometimes we couldn't even afford to pay for the nurses to come to the house. And, you know, my mama, she got to come down to take care of her. So, you know, I be trying to push this knowledge like, you know, we shouldn't be able to get in this situation now that we have somebody that's, especially my family. I'm telling all my family, look, this information is free. You know, y'all need to come pay attention. Y'all need to come get some of this knowledge. You know, don't ask me when something happened down the road for some money and this knowledge is here for you and you started turning me down.
Right. You know, I want 2021 to be the year that we usher in and make financial literacy and make the financial avenue of our occupation the new NBA, the new NFL, you know, because the opportunities that we have to learn how to protect not only ourselves, our family, but to make a lot of money in the interim has always been there. It's always been there, you know. And how many? And I'm sorry, as Black men, we are intelligent as hell. Okay,
and that's the reason why the poor stay poor, really.
Yeah, you know, and we're not given the opportunity to brandish our intelligence because we're labeled as physically gifted, you know, which we are. Yeah,
Right.
you know what? We're also mentally gifted.
Right, I was gonna say, but that's not it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
Trevor, can I say something?
Say whatever you want.
Hey, so Derek, I was
Yeah.
listening to you, and I felt, you know, I always listen to the man above. He always lead me to where I need to go. So I wanted to say this. I know exactly what you're going through as far as that, and I'm pretty sure Marcus, Isaac, and Trevor feel this way too. But for those people who don't say no, or they don't want to get the education, the first thing that you have to do is change everything about you. Because when they see you change, you can't go out and hang out with your boys like how you used to.
Oh yeah, I've been cut all that.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just saying this for the whole forum. You can't hang out with the same people. You can't do the same things. You can't move the same way. You can't talk the same way. You gotta let people know that you're so serious about this, that they feel it when you calling them.
Yep.
They feel it when you show up at the party. If you show up to a party and you say, "Oh, it's something going on," you showing up in the suit. I remember I had one of my best friends from high school. Marcus know him. He's part of our tripod. And every time he seen me, I had this book right here, right?
Yeah.
I had this book. I had my book. And he said, "Pat, I just want you to come over for the cookout. Every time you come over here, you got that damn book in your hand." And I said, "I know, bro, but I feel so strongly about what I'm doing. I gotta have it. Because I don't know who's gonna call me, and I need to put it in the schedule. I don't know who I'm gonna talk to, and I need to talk to them about it. I know that they may not know it because I didn't know it. And I know I was well off. I was more well off than some of y'all. I know I got two parents. I've been middle class since beginning, like, you know what I'm saying? Then I went from paying from 16. Now my parents didn't even do nothing for me. I was working out grind for all of my stuff. I went to California. I moved to California. I had 2 houses in California, a bike, a car. I moved back here. I had a fantastic life. You feel me? I'm having better lives than a lot of people around me. So like, I'm sitting here listening, and I see what you're saying, and I get it. But I want to make a change. I want somebody to see me. And I can't do that on account of, you know what I'm saying, I gotta have my book right here with this chicken you got. You pass me the macaroni too, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, this is what I'm on. And after that, after he's seen how strong he was by the policy for itself, say, hey, I believe in what you got going on. And then when I seen him, he was like, dang, this is what you teaching. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm trying to let you know. What we doing and what we are is pioneers. This is a campaign. This is the Renaissance.
Yeah.
We're trying to get our people out of the mud.
Yep.
Right.
But that's exactly it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Deep in it too.
That's the teach one, grow one. That's always my motto. Teach one, grow one.
For sure.
So brothers, we got one more visual we wanted to show you guys here real quick, because brother Patrick, that was an excellent segue in talking about each one teach one and grow one, and just starting from the community standpoint of it. But this right here I thought was just so powerful. So in the past 35 years, 324,000 Black men and boys have died in the hands of police brutality. Now, imagine if all of them had gotten at least 250 million, which is very doable. I think that should be 250,000. 250 million is a little high for it. But I think that's supposed to be 250,000. But this is at least, this is $81 billion going back to their families. And so when you look at the lifetime risk of being killed by the police over there on the left-hand side, African American is super high versus everybody else. And when you think about this, I mean, this is crazy that much money could have been put back in the community.
Yeah.
I doubt seriously if $1 billion over 35 years is going back. I mean, that's just where our mind is. You know, I mentioned this last week. I've heard brothers say, I don't want to leave no money for my wife to go to spend it on some other dude. I've had people tell me that I don't want my children to get rich off my debt. I'm like, are you? That's the most insane thing.
Crazy.
Nobody, no other people
Man.
does that. Name like the Asian people that we work with. I think that would make them faint if they heard somebody say that. I think they would literally pass out. If I die, why wouldn't I want my children to do better than me? I just don't understand.
And my wife,
You gonna hate when he dead too. He hating we alive, he hating when he dead.
Right.
Man,
I think we as a people really need to
you know, you're
we definitely need to put more. We need to put more on our own life. That's the hope of the insurance in the first place. We don't value ourselves as people the way we should. And if we actually put a dollar amount behind it, if we put a dollar amount behind it, then will there be more money in the community? There's another player involved when it comes to litigation and things, because you think these insurance companies really want to pay out $81 billion?
No.
Exactly.
No.
You already
No.
No. I see no problem with that.
You're breaking up there, Edward.
Brother Edward, you were breaking up, but we heard that point.
A very good point. For people that make the comments like what Isaac made, you know, those individuals unfortunately have no value in themselves in their lives, okay? And it's because, you know, they didn't get on one of these calls, you know? And so for everybody out there in Facebook world, okay, if you are a African-American male, if you're African-American female, I don't care. If you're a female or male in general, okay? I want you to take the week and go find a financial professional, okay? And just ask questions, right? Just ask questions, okay? I mean, if you're in Atlanta, go find Patrick. He the one carrying the book, okay? He'll tell you. He'll tell you why you're carrying that damn book, right? But it's time for us to if we learn about what's out there for us and available to us, okay, maybe then we can have a little bit more value of our lives, okay?
Trevor, let me ask this real quick to Tanisha. Tanisha, the dime method, can you pull that up? Because I just want to, because I know this is going to be posted on Facebook. I want people, because everybody's been talking about not having a value for themselves or not knowing how to calculate value for themselves. So I want to give them a starting point, and I just want to address it real quick. I know we're limited on time. We got 3 minutes. So if you can't pull it up, then that's absolutely fine. You know, we'll try to bring it up next week. But that's certainly a starting point for determining what your value is.
Where Femi at? I need her. She have like this split up, is ready to go.
I asked her last minute, so I ain't blaming you, Tanisha.
Can I share something with y'all?
I should have been more prepared.
Real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, I had an auntie. You know, her husband. Now, he was one of them guys that didn't want to leave nothing behind for his wife because he's scared she'll go spend it on another man. But I think that's the worst situation you could put your family in, because, you know, she's going to end up getting with somebody that probably ain't not good for them because they are not financially ready.
Before he go away.
Right.
You crazy, man.
And I ain't here no more. It's no more of my feelings. Shoot, I want my family to be good.
Now you put your kids in a situation where you put your kids in a situation where they're around a man, don't care too much about
Come on,
them.
Marcus. Yep.
There's that dime, Isaac.
So what now?
There's that dime right there.
Yep. So real quick, so just so we can see this is how you can calculate what your value is. And obviously we're infinitely more value than that, but this is a starting point for you right here. You want to look at your debt. That's all your debt that you have right now. And obviously, if you come to some of the classes, we're going to teach you how to pay off your debt. And then when it comes to your income, this particular example is showing $36,000 a year or $3,000 a month. And the replacement, you want to have it so that your wife or your children, or your husband rather, but your wife can be taken care of for 10 years. In other words, she doesn't miss your salary for a solid 10 years. In this case, it's $36,000. The total amount is $360,000. So if you got a mortgage, your $200,000 is right there. And then you want to start looking at a 4-year education for your children. And so if something were to happen to you, the protection that is needed, just bare minimum that's needed, is $730,000. This is the bare minimum of how you calculate your value for yourself and for your family. So, we can get into this a little bit more, I guess, next week, but I at least, when this gets played again on Facebook, I wanted the people to at least see and understand, this isn't rocket science. This is very simple. And this is what other communities teach their children.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, this is the first time that they have seen this, and it's blowing their mind because they're like, it's simple, yet I'm not doing it. This isn't complicated, but I'm not doing it. Why have I never heard this before? And so this is what, these things are for. These type of meetings are for. This is why we got to keep promoting this and doing all of these things. So I think it's 7:30, Trevor.
Thank you very much. Hey, Phil, this is a very, very fun call. Derek, Edward, y'all was on point. We appreciate it. Come back anytime. Guys, wonderful call or show today. I have no clue what it'll be next weekend. So guess what? Just show up and find out, right? Okay.
That's right.
Marcus, you borrow time, Marcus. You straight?
Yeah. I got you. Look.
All right.
I got you next week.
Patrick, thank you very much. Marcus, thank you very much. Isaac, thank you very much.
Yes,
Again, Derek, Edward, y'all were awesome. All of our guests. Tanisha, thank you for putting on a great show. We'll see you again, same time next week. The fine Fathers and Finances again, 6:30 again next week.
Come on.
Right? And we are out. Take us out, Tanisha.
That's what we're gonna do. Fine Fathers. That's what we're gonna put down on the flyer.
That's right. Fine Fathers and Finances. There you go.
I like that.
Put me on the fly for next week, man. Put me on the fly.
Not making any promises, but okay.
Take us out, Tanisha.
Nice to be on.
All right. See you guys later.
Sure.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, guys, next